And then you see how much violence there's on the left, with our friend Charlie Kirk getting murdered in cold blood this week, and people on the left celebrating it openly. The left is the party of murder.
The reason why things have gotten so out of hand is because essentially the good people were taught and brainwashed to never stand up for themselves, to look the other way, to act, to literally get so literally, and the word is brainwashed. I mean literal brainwashing. Billions of people have been brainwashed just not to see things for the way they are. I know, because I came out of it. A lot of you on this channel that came here because of my narcissist abuse videos, you learned from me when I said, because a lot of people would ask me like, well, do they know that what they're doing, the narcissist? And I'm like, yes, they know exactly what they're doing. And they know that you don't know what they're doing because you think, well, I would never do that to someone. So what? That doesn't mean someone else won't do it to you. So the thing is we have to wake up. We have to see things for the way they are, whether we like them or not. Period. End of sentence. One of the messages I said multiple times in my videos over the last few years about narcissist abuse is you have to see the good and the bad in someone, because we were raised by narcissists who also invaded our churches, infiltrated our leaderships in our churches, in our government, everywhere, in our schools. We were constantly taught. In fact, you can go to the grocery store and the cashier will lean over and say, well, you've always got to see the good in people. No, you don't. You don't always. That's a brainwash. That's a hypnotic technique. Always? No. You need to see the good and the bad. Period. You need to see people for who they are. For some of you who've been through severe narcissist abuse and have been conditioned and brainwashed and hypnotized, and they are using hypnotic techniques, by the way. One of the most simplest and yet most powerful hypnotic techniques is just to repeat a phrase or a word or sentence over and over and over and over, and eventually your brain just believes it. You were constantly taught to fear. Everywhere you went, it was all about fear, especially your churches. See, now, here's this complicated thing, like, so you're against religion? Yeah, I think I'm against religion, maybe not 100%, but the teaching of the devil has got to stop being taught in the church. God clearly says to fear not. What do they say? Like, God says either don't fear, fear not. It's something like 316 times or 61 times in the Bible or something like that. And it's like, so why do people in the churches fear so much? It's because you're constantly being taught that you're going to hell, that you're going to be hurt. And you're literally taught to fear the Lord your God. How many times has a Christian said to you, do you fear the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul? How many times have they said that? And yet the Bible does not, N-O-T, does not promote that. It does not teach that. It says to fear not. God says to fear not. When people in the church, it's a really odd thing that they know the truth, but they refuse to tell you the truth. It's such a really, and I confront now, and for about a decade, I confront every pastor, minister, Christian on this every single day. And they're like, oh, well, yeah, because you're a liar. That's what, because you're a liar. Because you were taught to lie. You were taught, and you accepted the teachings of lying. It's the phrase where people say, fear the Lord your God, and the actual from the original, I think it was the Hebrew language, might have been the Greek, but the original language that it came from in the Bible, when it was first written, it had nothing to do with fearing God, which is a really weird thing, that it was not only was the translation mistranslated, it was kept mistranslated, even though they know the truth. So when you go back to the original language of when it was written, it literally means to seek shelter under God, to seek protection under God, to admire God, to revere God. And I'll even confront Christians on that, and they'll be like, well, yeah, I know that's what it means. I'm like, so then why don't you say that? Because I want to make my narcissist masters happy. The fact that your pastors, ministers, and Christians in the church know that what they're saying is a lie, yet they keep repeating the same teaching of fear when it's supposed to be the complete... Hey, when I seek shelter under God, do you know what I feel? I feel comfort. I feel safety. I feel calm. I don't feel fear. When I admire God, when I look, literally, it literally means to look up to God. That's what the word literally means, to look up to God. I feel happiness. I feel joy. Where's the fear coming from? Well, it's coming from we want to control you. See, when you're in a state of love and happiness, that artery opens up in your lower reptilian brain, and thus blood, which carries oxygen and glutamine or glycogen up to your brain and opens you up to your right brain. So now this is fuel. This is what fuels your muscles in your brain. So now it turns on, and now you have awareness. If you're in a state of love or happiness, they can't control you because you can see the games. You can see what they're doing. And that's why they're twisting the words of the Bible to constantly put you in a state of fear. Even though God says, don't fear, fear not. 300 sometimes in the Bible. Something's not right here, Elmer Fudd. They lied to you. They manipulated you. They tricked you. They taught our young men and our now grown men to be weak. I'm really happy for the movement that's happening in the entire world about the Christian, the Christians, finally speaking up, standing up and yelling. But if they keep teaching you to fear God, to be weak, they're just teaching the teachings of the devil, and the same thing's going to repeat in the next 30 to 40 years. We're going to be back where we're at today. You cannot teach people to constantly fear. That is how you shut people down. And guess what's going to happen? Well, they're going to do what we did the last 5 years. Do as you're told. Fit in the box. Don't speak up. Don't have any oratory. Don't have any debate. Don't have any discussions in public. Just do as you're told and accept what we tell you to believe. And that's exactly what we've been doing for 10, 12, 15, 20 years. What I'm saying is the churches have been invaded by the enemy, period, end of sentence. Narcissists have been leading our world, our country, our government, our churches, our schools. Now here's this right here. When the narcissist says they changed, and here, let me show you real quick. Hold on. Yep, they didn't change. They just put on a better mask or a better clown hat. They don't change, which means you have to. Until you stand up for yourself, until you refuse to never back down again, until you stand up for yourself and take that leap of faith to be strong, to fight back, to speak back, to refuse to let them do what they've been doing to us for decades, if not over a century, if not hundreds of years. A lot of Christians talk about faith, and yet none of them ever take the actual leap of faith. Remember when he says it has faith like a child, or childlike faith? This is what he's talking about. This is what he's talking about. I can proudly say this is exactly what it looks like when you jump out of a plane. Former 101st Airborne Infantry. I've made that jump multiple times. And this is exactly what it looks like. And let me tell you something. When you're that far up in the air and you're looking out that door with that wind flying by like that, yeah, it's scary. But you do it anyways. See, a lot of people think, well, I'm not brave. Like, well, what do you mean you're not brave? That doesn't make sense. Well, okay, because I have fear. That's the definition of bravery. You feel the fear and you do it anyways. That's the point. That is, if there was no fear, how can you have bravery? Take the leap. It's worth it. Trust me. See, until you stand up for yourself, you'll never know what it feels like to actually live. Life starts where fear ends, literally. Never back down. Stand your ground, because narcissists, they never go after people that fight for themselves. They only go for those people who cower down and let the narcissist. See, you have to let the narcissist attack you. If you stand your ground, they're like, oh shit, oh, I think I came after the wrong one. And their brain, you see it in their eyes get really confused. Like, wait, I thought this was one of the weaker ones. Wait, what's going on here? See, even if you're weak, it doesn't matter. If you fight back, they don't like that. It's not a physical fight. It's a public fight. It's a social fight. Speak up. Start telling people what this person's done to you. Start telling your side of the story. Start telling them, hey, that's a narcissist. That person's demonic. Start putting the word out, and people will start to watch them. And that is a narcissist's worst nightmare. One thing I learned when I was a little kid, there used to be this guy, he was like in 8th grade when we were in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, and he would bully the crap out of us. He would throw us to the ground, he'd sit on us, he'd do that knuckle thing on our forehead, on our chest, but he would do it really, really hard to where we'd get bruises that would last for a week, etc. And it wasn't cool at all. And for the most part, he avoided me, but then one day he just kind of got brave, and he came after me, and I could tell he was hesitant. And he was sitting on top of me, had my arms pinned down, and he was doing this, and it was literally freaking me. I was going into panic, so I got one of my arms out, and I punched him right in the freaking nose, and he got off me. He goes, oh, I can't believe you did that, and he starts to cry, and I'm like, well, look what you've been doing to us for freaking 3 years now. And let me tell you something, here we are 40 plus years later, he has never, ever even given me a dirty look ever since. That's the way life works. Until you punch them right square in the nose, they're not going to stop. But once you do it, they're like, oh, just like that lion got scared, like, oh shit, and started to back up. That's exactly what they do. And that's the lesson that God's been trying to teach you. Trust me, there's nothing but rewards on the other side of this fence. Then other people are still getting bullied. They're like, well, why doesn't he pick on that guy? And someone says, because that guy fights back. And narcissists don't deal with that. They don't like it. One thing I learned about bullies, they do not stop until you stop them. They're just going to keep doing it. It's like, well, why not? In their eyes, that's the way they look at it. Well, no one's stopping me. You have to stop them. And let me tell you something. That'll be the first day of your life. You're going to finally know what it means to actually live. And you're going to feel so much better for it. I am telling you that phrase in the video, life starts where fear ends. It is so true. Last I checked, Michael the Archangel is a warrior. Ah, that's right. I am right. So are a lot of the angels. A lot of the angels are nothing more than warriors to fight battles. Where does that say weakness to you? Where does it say that you're supposed to lay down your life? I tell you what, you lay down your life, they will take it. I promise you that. It's time to take a stand. That's it, guys. Hope this video affected you, impacted you in a really good way. If you like this video, please click subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.